3 tips on creating killer resumes. How can you get your resume shortlisted for any hot role that you want? Watch this video to know more. Only 2% of sent resumes result in an interview. Only 2%. Why? Now there are multiple reasons for that, which can be clubbed in the form of 2 factors. Number 1, clarity with comprehensiveness. Number 2, degree of customization. Now what is clarity with comprehensiveness? It is essentially a style of writing your resume which is simple with a logical layout, but at the same time comprehensively and consistently communicating a narrative or a story of who you are as a candidate. What is the value you can add and how the organization can benefit from you. Now remember, it is important both from the perspective of the recruiter, who is the first stage shortlister, as well as the hiring manager, more so for the hiring manager, because the comprehensiveness of it, the story of it will truly be appreciated by the hiring manager who is about to take your interview. It's a great first impression before your interview when you write a comprehensive yet a compelling story about you as a candidate. We'll now move to factor number 2. The second factor, as we discussed, is the degree of customization that you make in your resume. Now if you're using a standard resume to apply for a variety of roles in the market, you are actually inviting trouble for yourself. It's a sure way of inviting disaster in terms of not being selected or shortlisted. Now, this is also supported by data which says that 54% of resumes gets rejected because of lack of resume customization. Now, why is this so? To understand that, we will look at the shortlisting process, because essentially there are 2 stages in that. Stage 1 is where your resume is being filtered out of a wide pool of candidates, hundreds of them, right? Now it can be done manually by a recruiter, or it can be done using system. We have something called application tracking system or various kind of system which is AI enabled and which has the power to look at certain keywords and segregate your resume if they find the keywords matching between your resume and the job description. Now that is stage 1. Stage 2 is where a smaller pool of candidates and their resumes reach out to the hiring manager and the hiring team. Now then they look at those smaller pool of resumes and then do a further shortlisting of candidates who they actually want to meet and interview in person or virtually. So these are the 2 stages you have to keep in mind, which are part of the recruitment value chain in terms of shortlisting. So shortlisting value chain. So now if you understand the stage 1 clearly, how does an application tracking system work? The application tracking system simply in most cases work on the basis of keywords and sometimes brands. So what ends up happening is the machine or the system is looking for certain keywords that's there in the job description which they are looking at your resume. Similarly, if you look at recruiter, the process is not vastly different even if it is a manual human person who is looking at the resume, simply because the human is not an expert in that function. See, the same recruiter is probably shortlisting candidates for HR, finance, supply chain, procurement, and even maybe rocket science. So how it is done is, they spend less than a minute to look at the resume. They are looking at key essential brands, which colleges you are from, which organization you have worked in, years of experience, quick data on that. And number 2, most importantly, they are looking for certain keywords which they have picked up from the job description, because clearly they are not experts to understand the story you are trying to tell, and they're not going to spend 7, 8 minutes, 10 minutes on the resume to understand the details. So in both cases, whether it is an application tracking system or a human being who is doing it, the keywords are extremely important for you to benefit from being shortlisted, and hence the necessity to customize your resume for every role that you want to apply for. And it doesn't harm you to do a little bit of customization, a little bit of tweaking here and there to include certain keywords. I'm not asking you to lie about what you haven't done in the resume. What I'm asking is what you have done, extend it to align better to the job description in question. Yeah. So let's analyze the various scenarios in the form of a 2x2 matrix based on your strengths in clarity with comprehensiveness or degree of customization. Now, as we discussed, the shortlisting value chain, stage 1 is where the recruiters manually or application tracking systems through an automated system kind of shortlist your resume. Your degree of customization, the keyword match really matters a lot there. If you look at stage 2 of the shortlisting value chain, this is where the hiring team or the hiring manager gets a smaller pool of resumes to choose from. They do a more detailed deep dive into the resumes, understand them, and then come out with a shorter list of candidates and their profiles who they really want to interview. So the clarity with comprehensiveness is extremely critical for stage 2 because that is what the hiring team is evaluating. So keeping that in mind, if you look at the 4 scenarios, if you are in scenario 1, you have least of both, low of both, I think you will not be shortlisted. Very less chance of getting shortlisted if you have not done the due diligence, unless you have an extremely strong brand or great experience. Quadrant 2, you have high amount of clarity with comprehensiveness, but your degree of customization is missing, which means you will get stuck in stage 1. People will kind of tend to overlook your resume even if you're a great candidate, great fit for that role. You are doing a huge disservice to yourself. Quadrant 3 is where you have best of both. You are up for a rocking interview. You are definitely a great resume creator. You will crack most of the shortlisting process across the board. Quadrant 4 is where you have great amount of customization, so you will clear stage 1. You will have a greater tendency to clear stage 1, but you are going to get stuck in stage 2 because that is where people will look for a clarity, a comprehensiveness, and you will not be able to impress the hiring team. So, as we discussed, quadrant 3 is the most aspired quadrant. So, if you are in quadrant 2, which is where majority of people are, and you want to move to quadrant 3, the focus should be on increasing your degree of customization. If you are in quadrant 4 and you want to move to quadrant 3, you need to focus on building clarity and comprehensiveness in your resume. And what are the hacks for that? Here you go. Hacks to improve clarity with comprehensiveness. Number 1, no long resumes. More than 2 pages resume is absolutely not good. Have logical layout and simple words. Number 2, focus on outcomes, not on responsibility shouldered. Number 3, use power words, no jargons please. Number 4, make sure you start sentences with action verb like led the team or led assignments or led the projects, and don't write in first person. And 5th one is no spelling errors, no grammatical errors please. Hacks to improve your degree of customization of resume. Just look at the job description of the role you want to apply for, identify keywords, and make sure you include those keywords in your resume, provided you have worked on similar areas or activities. Now, very quickly we'll look at a standard resume layout. It starts with a summary of who you are, what you have done so far, etc. And then you move to the work experience, and then the academics. Finally, then you have your certifications, trainings, etc. The second page, you show them a selected set of experiences and your personal journey so far or details. Now, this is a resume which is for a formal setting. Maybe you're applying for investment banking or strategy consulting house. Let's keep it very formal, and it's quite a guy who is very tenured, 16-17 years experience, so you have a lot to say, but still you clubbed everything within 2 pages. If you're a fresher, of course, you can have shorter resumes. You can prioritize the academic experiences followed by internship, etc. If you're applying for marketing or kind of mass communication related roles, you can be more funky. You can include data, graphs, infographics. You can also do video resume. These days they are quite in usage. So feel free, but make sure the structure is there, the layout is there, it's clean, crisp, and communicating a holistic story, starting with a summary of who you are and what you can do for the organization. So that's it for today. 3 key takeaways. Number 1, customizing the resume is very important. Number 2, clarity with comprehensiveness in the resume is very important. And number 3, we saw some hacks to improve the above 2 factors. That's it for today. Please share your comments, questions, or inputs in the comment section. If you like the session, hit the like button, and please do subscribe to the channel so that my new videos can reach out to you. Thank you and stay focused.